Today in our SketchUp lesson we're going to create a 3D model, and we'll give it a little bit of perspective as we are doing that, and then we'll continue on with this lesson as we go along, or with parts of this lesson. I'm going to start by using the navigation tools that we used the other day. I'm going to choose my rotate, and I'm going to rotate my person over just a little bit so I can kind of see this area I'm going to be working in, and maybe even pan her over just slightly so that I have a better view of what we're going to do. Now I'm going to come over to my toolbar, and I'm going to click on the rectangle tool, which is the brown tool up at the top, and I'm going to start at my origin, which is that yellow dot, and I'm going to drag out to create a rectangle. Now I'm going to make this a square by, in my dimensions down here at the bottom, I'm just going to type 25 apostrophe, and that stands for feet, and then a comma, and then 25 apostrophe. That'll make it 25 feet by 25 feet. And so now I'm going to rotate this up just a little bit so we can see it better. And we're going to use the rectangle again and draw us another rectangle inside of that one. And we want this rectangle to be 15 feet, comma, by 15 feet. So apostrophes after both of those, and I'm going to press enter. So now we have our two rectangles drawn, and now we're going to give it that 3D look. So I'm just going to rotate it around just slightly so we can do that. And I'm going to come over and use a different tool, my push-pull tool, which is this brown box with an arrow pointing out the top. And I'm going to come over, and when you get over to your rectangles, you see it selects whatever it's over. And that selection is used with blue dots. And so we want the smaller rectangle selected. And with the push-pull tool, if I want it to go in, I push down, and if I want it to go out, in this case, I push up. So I want to click and drag up just slightly, and you can see that it starts pulling that rectangle out in a 3D shape. Well, I want that to be 10 feet tall, so instead of me trying to pull it out, I'm just going to go ahead and type in 10 apostrophe, and that's going to make that 10 feet tall for me. Now I'm going to rotate this over so we can see the front of it the way we need to. And we're going to add a couple of features to this. I'm going to go back and get my rectangle tool, and I'm going to start on my end point, or on edge here. You can tell that by the red dot that appears. And I'm going to click and drag out a door. And I'm going to drag a couple more rectangles out, one on each side of the door. That'll be used as windows. Okay? Now, before we do much else, I want to use one more tool here, and right next to the circle tool, you're going to see kind of an arc, and that's the arc tool. And I'm going to click to use this on one of my endpoints, and when I do, I need to go to my other endpoint and click, and then find my midpoint and click and drag up. So I'm going to click, and you can see now I'm dragging out. So I'm going to click on my other midpoint, and now I've found my midpoint. I'm going to click and drag up, and hopefully it makes an arc for me. Nope, we went the wrong way. So let me do that one more time. I'm going to click and click, and now when I go up, I've created my arc, and so there is the arc. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and that red line means that my stuff is lined up, which is what I want it to be, straight across. And so I've got that lined up, and I'm going to do the same thing there. I'm going to add an arc. I'm going to click and drag over and click, and then I'm just going to click and come up and draw an arc. And so now I've created a couple of arcs here with just some simple tools. And we will do some things with these arcs and windows and doors in our next lesson.